Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Five of Cups, okay? This is the first position. It's called the station in the Dove and Serpent spread, okay? This right now is our sense of self. This is our current kind of like identity. It's the tone of our being, okay? It is kind of how we feel when we're alone, you know, who we are when we sort of close our eyes at night, right? And it's the card of disappointment. And it's the card of kind of feeling as if something should be here, but it's not. So we start to wonder, you know, what is missing from my life? What is it that I really want right now? And what is this feeling trying to tell me? Okay? So I think that, you know, when we're awake and we're active and we're during the day, we're sort of doing our life, we're living our life. But then when we kind of lay our head, I don't mean literally necessarily, but when we are alone, when we lay our head down at night, when it's just us, when we close our eyes, right, we sort of have that feeling that something, I need more, I need something different, or that my feelings are changing about something, okay? So we need to reflect on how this card could resonate with the sense of sort of who we are, how we feel right now. It's the card of us trying not to identify fully with the emotion. You know, we don't want to just be sadness or disappointment or pain or heartache or yearning or longing, right? We don't want to just be that energy. We want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to recognize it. I want to be able to point in myself and say, I feel it right there, you know? And so there's this idea of kind of taking a step back from our emotions so that we can see them and we can feel them and we can experience them and we can hear what they're saying to us. And so sometimes when we get so identified with the emotion, it just sort of influences our behavior and we don't really stop to say, okay, I feel this certain thing. We could put a label on it if you want. But I feel this certain thing. What is it trying to tell me? Anytime we get a 5, right? 1, we start looking for the 4. We want stability, right? We want the turmoil or the turbulence to end. But we're also, the 5s are also cards that say, hey, look at me. Anytime there's a 5, it means there's a movement in our emotional body. And it's a movement that says, I better look at it and see what it's trying to do or what it's trying to tell me or why I feel the way I feel. What does it really mean? Not to judge it, not to say I feel bad that I feel bad, but to say, what is it trying to say to me? Okay? So let's see if we can ask those questions. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. You have the 2 of Wands. Okay. We have the Adjustment card. We have a Tower. We have the Hierophant. We have, the Empress. Oh, look at that. You're surrounded by divine energy. Look at that. We should ring the bell. Where's my bell? We should ring the bell for that as well in this on this channel, because anytime we get the major arcana forming the guardians of the quarters here for you, with you in the center and the divine energy all around you, that's a very important, really a very auspicious configuration of cards. It doesn't happen often. It's pretty rare, okay? But you've got it. And so right off the bat tells me that, look, you've got divine guidance in your life, that you are being led. Whatever this feeling is that you feel, it's kind of coming from your true self, and it's a feeling that you should trust, okay? Because it's leading you to something better, something more, something higher, something deeper, whatever you want to say. It's leading you to, well, your Empress, life, okay? So this is really profound that we have those major arcana energies. Here on the path of the serpent, we have the Ace of Swords. We have the Hanged Man. We have a Prince of Cups and a Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles makes sense because now what it's showing is that we're not just feeling that something's missing and we're just kind of, woe is me, I feel bad. But with the Seven of Pentacles, the destiny for you is to go forward into that realm, to feel the feelings. Well, look at this. To feel the feelings, decide we're going to do something about it. We have the clarity about, what it is we're going to do. And, well, this is us approaching those dimensions of life where we don't have what we need, or we don't have what we want, or we are not who we want to be. This is the sort of looking at those things that aren't there, in order to say that's what I want to be there. We have the feeling something should be here, but it's not. We get the clarity about what that is, and then we can go out and we can fix that. We can tend to that part of the garden that hasn't been getting any attention. These are things that haven't grown, right? These are maybe seeds that we never planted, ground that we never tilled. And now we can say, I know what this is. I felt the feelings. I have the clarity. I have the will to go forward. And now I know where to apply my energies because I want to cultivate this part of the garden because this is what's missing. So I think this is really a really profound end there with that destiny card, the Seven of Pentacles. But anyway, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay? Now, as we look around the room, of course we see major, 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 and major, 5 major arcana energies, which is a lot in one reading anyway. Not only do you have that configuration of the divine circle, but you also have, half of the reading so far is major arcana energy. So that's a very good omen. You've got fire and water. You've got air, you've got earth. So you're pretty balanced in your elements as well. Okay. The second position of our spread is position 2. It's called the battle. Okay. This is where your task or your quest is revealed. The field of your conflict. And it may be that there are 2 conflicting intentions inside of you. That your will, instead of being 1, is split in 2. That we're sort of there, I want to go this way, but something in me wants to go that way. And we can't go 2 directions at once necessarily. And so I feel like we're kind of, this is a card of empowerment, right? The 2 of Wands is a card of dominion and saying like, I want to expand my life. I want to believe and acknowledge that I have the power to pursue those things that will fulfill me. So it's kind of like we're getting that the 5 of Cups feeling, that we're looking at this part of ourselves and then we're saying, okay, I can do something about it. Yeah. And this is where our courage is being tested. This is where we have to sort of, we have to learn something through this conflict. And it may be a conflict here that says, I feel disappointed or I feel a lack of something in my life, but I don't want to feel that way. Am I just being ridiculous? Should I just be content? Right? Should I just, as much as I try to just stay here and tell my 5 of Cups, no, I don't actually feel that way. You're just being silly. There's still, it's an undeniable force. It's kind of like once spirit starts knocking at your door, it's never going to stop, right? Once we have that feeling inside of us, no matter what we cover it up with, it's going to be there. We're going to feel it. Okay. So now the 2 of Wands is, we've got to take the courage. We've got to stand up. We've got to figure out what it is that's missing from my life right now. Do you need more free time? Do you need more alone time? Do you want to excel at something? Do you feel like we really want to climb to the top of a mountain of some skill or some talent, or do you want to learn something new? Is there, do we want to move forward into into being more of service to the world, right? Because we're kind of looking at some of these major arcana and just wondering, what are the things that really speak to you? What is missing from your life? Are you looking to get to the top of your field? Do you want to become some sort of an inspiration, a teacher to other people? Do you have wisdom inside of you that you need to share? Do you want to be a healer? Do you feel that's kind of what's missing from your life? Is that something to really take care of? Maybe even with the Libra energy underneath the adjustment card, maybe you're looking into or you kind of feel an impulse toward being of service in a more official capacity, right? Serving justice, that sort of thing, right? So we really have a few different, it's almost like we have career paths here, You could be a teacher, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer. But I don't think it's really meant that literally, but that sort of is indicating that there's something inside of you that wants to pursue a new potential, right, that you have. And so it's up to you with this Two of Wands to kind of say, okay, well, what is it here? What is it that I want to do, and what is the feeling telling me, and how can I start? And first, I think, before we even get to that far, we have to acknowledge that I have the power to do this, that I can do this. If I honor my Five of Cups and I believe that it's real and it has an authentic message for me, the Two of Wands is saying, I can do something about it. I do not have to just try to be content. I can grow. I can find that spot in the garden that's not getting the attention, and I can make something grow there, right? Now, the next position is the position 3. It's called the soul. This is sometimes your hidden self. Sometimes it's our unconscious, right? It's something that's dwelling beneath the surface in you. And it is the adjustment card. And this might be a card that is, in a way, a deeper feeling, okay? Sometimes our emotional landscape. And it may be that we have felt sort of unfairly treated by life, or we feel as if our experiences of life have been too heavily weighted in one area. So we're looking for more balance. It could be that we've spent a lot of our time in a certain field of study, or a certain lifestyle, or a certain type of relationship, or a certain type of work, or a certain type of attitude, right? And so we're looking to we're looking to even things out, that maybe you've been very business oriented your whole life. So now we're trying to level that out a little bit with being a little more artistic, that sort of thing. It could be that we feel as if in our life we haven't had enough opportunity to pursue our own goals. And I'm kind of bleeding into this Hanged Man a little bit over here, because I feel like maybe you have been, you have devoted a good portion of your life to other people and their needs and their wants and their sort of choices, because this card is a blend of energies. It's our higher wisdom and discernment. It's how we make choices for our lives based on intuition, spiritual, higher wisdom, higher love, that sort of thing. The sort of spiritual virtues, right, to help us make value judgments and make decisions. And in combination with the Hanged Man, it may feel that your life has been sort of overweighted in kind of denying our own destiny for the sake of someone else. Maybe we feel that we've spent a lot of time in service to something that now we're thinking, okay, it's time for me to make some adjustments, right? It's time for me to get, kind of my fair share of other aspects of life. Yeah. And so we're kind of ready to bring this energy to light. This is something that wants to come up from inside of you. And it may feel like we have been denying our true destiny in some way. Okay. And it kind of comes back to, I feel like our life's been unfair, that things have been tilted in one direction for too long, and now it's time to restore the balance. Okay. So, this might be a transitional period for you where we have been in service to other things for a good portion of life. Now maybe those things have sort of ended or they're concluding. And so now there's an opportunity for you to kind of focus on some of the things that you've always wanted to do. Okay? Things that maybe we have put on hold. Okay? And it could just very well be that you're ready to sort of do something in an official capacity. Okay? This card is sometimes legal stuff, it's paperwork, it is professional kind of thing, right? So it could be that really in an honest way, it could be that you're trying to get back to, doing your career stuff. Maybe you put some of your career on hold for other things. Maybe we're getting back to that now. Okay? But we're trying to adjust the scales here, and we're trying to balance our life out. And so it might be that's what we're sort of secretly yearning for, is just more balance. That we don't want to feel like my life is just one thing. And again, if we're thinking of it in the terms of the garden, right, that it may be the scales have been really out of balance because we've been focusing on one particular area of the garden, or like one vegetable. We got all these other plants that need tending to. So I feel like we're really trying to just get centered and balanced and tend to those other things in life that matter to us. Okay? Now the next card is position 4, and it is the dwarf position. It's old patterns. It's an inertial drag. It's some residue of karma from your past. Okay? And this is a tower event. Okay? And this is kind of undeniable. There was a kind of a major turning point in your recent past. And I don't know if this was, anything. I mean, it could have been something very serious, but it could have been a breakup. It could have been something that happened that kind of rocked your world, right? So the loss of a job, a breakup, it could be, and I hope not, but it could be the passing of a loved one into spirit, okay? But I kind of feel like this was an unexpected, world-shaking, soul-rattling kind of event for you. And now, as it sort of starts to get a little bit behind us, I was going to say fade into the past, but I don't think it's faded at all yet. I think it's still very real. In the aftermath of this, I think we're feeling that 5 of Cups, and we're just thinking, what do I need to do now? And maybe that as unexpected and as unwanted as this tower event was, perhaps it's now giving you the opportunity to make some other choices in your life, to do something different with your time and your effort, your energy, and maybe your money too, right? So this, to me, it doesn't really feel like this is necessarily karma, but it could be that you have gotten away from that imbalance. Okay, so let's say you are in a job and it's consuming all of your time, and it feels like that's all we do is that job, The tower then could be that maybe you quit, maybe you got fired, let go, maybe the contract ended, right? Something like this. And it's kind of it was an unexpected, probably not the contract, but something unexpected, and we're not doing that anymore. And as devastating as that might have felt, I think now we're sort of realizing that maybe it's given me a lot to think about, and actually I'm starting to feel some new stuff here, and I realize that I have to take charge and I have to move forward in life, and I have to try to do those things that maybe I've always wanted to do, or to find those things that will be fulfilling to my soul. Okay, so in a way, this still is very heavily influencing your consciousness. Okay, it's still this kind of lingering shadow. I think we're in the aftermath of whatever this event was, and we're now feeling like it's time to move forward and time to sort of get balanced, get centered again, and figure out what I want to do, what part of my garden I need to tend in order to have a more fulfilling life. Yeah. So position 5 is the position of the giant. It's the driving force. It's the impulse that propels you forward. It is the Hierophant. And this is a good place for the Hierophant, because to me it kind of feels like this is the spiritual energy coming down into your life. And I feel that it's a message from your divine self, your guardian angel, ancestors, spirit guides, God, goddess, deity, your true self, higher self, universal mind, universal energy. It is some wisdom, right? And I feel like it is the guidance that your soul is offering you that says, you know, whatever our feelings are toward the past and toward what happened, what we must do right now is pick up the magic wand, pick up that two of wands, right? Pick up our power and figure out what we want to do with the rest of our lives. Find out what to do now. Okay? And so I feel like the message from your higher self is listen to your feelings. You got that 5 of Cups. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you that something should be here, but it's not. What is that thing? And that knowledge, once received and acknowledged, what is it inspiring us to do? Okay. The Hierophant is also a card of wisdom, experience, teaching. It's a card of mastery. It's a card of sometimes like receiving help from other people. Okay, I feel like what your impulse is, or what your driving force is, or what maybe your ambition is, to help other people in some way. Okay, all the cards that we have here, really, these are all helper cards, you know. And you know, this could be like legal help. This is professional help. This is like, you know, healing type of work. So I feel like that's kind of the impulse, right? The Hierophant is a card that is sort of sanctioning what you're feeling right now. This is like the indication that what you feel is right and correct. Okay? And it's asking you what virtues, like let's say we're going to become the Hierophant. What virtues do we need to be working on in order to become our very best selves? Do we need patience? Do we need assertiveness and confidence maybe? Right? Do we need to work on our creativity? Are there certain skills that you need to learn? You know, it's kind of this is the card it's the teacher. It's sort of saying, look, you're learning a lot about yourself, and depending on who you realize you want to become, there are things you're going to have to do in order to arrive at that state. You know, so this is the guidance for you. Okay, and we sort of we take that in conjunction with position 6. This is the imago, okay? And that is, well, it's the Empress. It's the image of your future self. It's the next step on your path and the seed of tomorrow. The Empress is the garden. It is the whole garden that is being tended. It's the garden internal, it's the garden external. And you know, that's the decision we have to make right now. That's what we have to take our power, and we have to start tending those areas of the garden that are lacking right now. Okay. And maybe the Tower is really literally saying that something was there and has been torn from us, is not there anymore. Okay. This is the card of healing. This is the card of putting pieces back together. This is the card of growing what it is that we feel is not there. Now, if this is a loved one that has passed into spirit, it in the physical realm, it has left a hole there, right? It's obviously someone should be there, but they're not. When I come home from work, I open the door, my person's not there anymore, right? And I truly hope this isn't the case. But we have to find ways to cultivate that person's presence anyway. Find other ways to engage with them and converse with them and dialogue with them. Right? They're not gone. They're not lost. They're vibrating at a higher rate. Right? They're just not in the physical realm with us anymore. And so physically is left a hole. But mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they are still present. So this is a matter of sort of reconfiguring things. Okay. This is the card of healing. Yes, this is the card of taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others too. This is the card that likes to give and give and give and give. Yeah, and very often to our own detriment. So we have to be very careful, because this has to be a self-love as well as a love for those around us. Okay, so this is the card of cultivation. And this is, in a very, very kind of linear way, it's saying that, we have this feeling of loss or disappointment. We have to take our power back, and we have to start cultivating whatever it is that we get the wisdom from the divine that says what we have to do next. Okay. And so we understand, in a way, what choices are going to help us to shape this vision of having this life where I am my best self, I'm living my best life. What things do I need to do, like literal things? Is this about, having different kind of hobbies, having more relationships, having a more kind of a more balanced life where there's, maybe work-life balance, or like professional life, personal life balance, right? How are we feeding into our worldview? How are we feeding into our reality? And what do we need to change to have more of the reality that we want? Okay. Well, this card really could be the feeling of, like, the next step is you finding something that you need to take care of. Finding something that you can love and nurture, whether it's getting a pet or a plant or another person, right? Because I feel that there is this giving and loving energy in you. And I feel like, maybe the Five of Cups is saying, I just don't have anything that needs me anymore. I don't have anything that needs me to take care of it. And so maybe this is, maybe we'll start with a little plant or something, and something to take care of. Or this is ourselves, this is our body, this is our house, this is the car, this is anything that kind of needs our energy there to support it. Okay, I think sometimes we like to just feel needed by people, that we're not just expendable, right? So this card has a lot of complex energies to it, as we know. On the path of the serpent, we're going to talk about these cards. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Your persona, position 7. Okay, this is the Ace of Swords. This is how we present ourselves to the world. This is how people see you. People see you as somebody that kind of knows all the answers. Not as a know-it-all, but someone that has clarity. Somebody that has a certainty about life that is sort of enviable, Everybody wishes they had some kind of certainty. It's like, oh yeah, that Leo, they know who they are. They know what they're all about. They know what life is about for them. And I think that this may be how people see us, but it's not always the fact. It's not always the reality here, inside our bodies. I don't know everything. I don't have certainty. The Five of Cups is saying I'm not certain about how I feel or what I want, really. But I think that by exploring this feeling and exploring some possibilities and some options and really taking action and starting new things, right, is that's the way we're going to gain in the wisdom, and we will achieve this clarity. Because this is now kind of, and the one good thing, I want to point this out, the one really good thing about this reading is that there aren't a lot of swords cards. We have the one sword card. It's an ace. Right, it's the best sword you could get. We don't have a lot of the other swords here, so I feel like you're somebody that knows how to get outside of the tumultuous mental energy, the chaotic thought process, and just tap into your higher guide. Ask your spirit guides, right? What this feeling means. What is it telling you, and how, and what do you do about it? This is that card of clarity. And you can see that the tip of this sword is in outer space. We've penetrated through the realm of mind, and we're in outer space now, receiving the cosmic divine light from the star, right? That it's sort of the antenna on top of your head that can cut through all the noise, all the static, and just taps right into spirit. Okay? And, maybe this is how other people see us. Maybe this is real. Maybe we need to do this. And so through whatever means you know, whatever you do, if you meditate or you pray or you just have breathing exercises or maybe you do it while you're running, I don't know. But how do you tap into the divine wisdom and the divine light and the divine energy? What are your methods? Use those methods in order to get that guidance from that Hierophant that says, who am I supposed to become now? How am I supposed to continue to build myself and cultivate myself in my life right now? Because that clarity will come to you, okay? And I think that you have the ability to not overthink about it, but to feel and receive that wisdom. Now, in position 8, we have the shadow. Sometimes these are hidden or denied aspects of ourselves, sometimes unacknowledged truths. And to me, in the context of this reading, the Hanged Man might be saying that what we really need to acknowledge about ourselves is that I need people. I need somebody to need me, you know. I need to have a purpose. I need to have something to do. I need to have something that like gives me a reason to wake up in the morning. Oh, I gotta wake up. I gotta feed the cats, you know. It gives me some, gives me a sense of duty and service, right? Because the Hanged Man is just sort of hanging here, right? Pun intended. I know, it's silly. But doesn't really have, this is not a card of outward movement. This is not a card of having something to do in the physical world. It's not about external work. This is the internal work. And it might be saying that, you know, we've done the internal work a lot now. That once we can feel how we feel and we get that 5 of Cups and we acknowledge it, we look at it, we ask Spirit, what does it mean and what should I do? We got to get up and do it. We have to turn this around. We have to become the fire dancer. Shout out to Dave Matthews Band. You know, rather than sinking into this feeling and identifying with it and being overwhelmed and immersed in it, drowned by that feeling, we dive into the feeling, we connect with it, we say, okay, I understand the message, and then we get the heck out of the pool. We get the heck out of the water and we start living that truth, right? We start doing those activities. We start taking action. So I think this card is saying that, you know, it's important that we tap into that feeling, understand its message, but then we emerge and we start taking action, taking steps forward to cultivate this best life, okay? And I think that this card is saying that we need something in our lives that needs us, okay? Whether it's having the job, it's like, I got to be there at 8 o'clock. They need me to be there, you know. Having some sort of a sense of purpose and duty gives us a reason, you know, motivates us to get up and keep cultivating ourselves and cultivating our lives. It doesn't matter really what it is. You know, you get a plant, you say, I gotta wake up today because I've gotta water the plants today. I gotta take care of the plant. I gotta put it outside in the sun and bring it in at night, and it gives you a sense of purpose. Okay, as silly as it might seem, that is very important with this energy. That seems very important. And so by embracing that part of us that says, I want to be of service to something in a way that is fulfilling to me, I think that's that's a very real and a very authentic, realization. The next card is position 9. It's the spectre. It's the anxiety, it's the dread, the challenge, the fear, the worry, the concern, the obstacle that we have to pass through. And it's that card of authenticity. So our fear is that I'm going to be in service to something that isn't fulfilling me. And maybe that's something that you have familiarity with too, because that's the feeling I got at first. By just glancing at the cards when they first came out, I said, okay, we got the 5 of Cups, Hanged Man, and the Libra Justice Adjustment card. I feel like you've spent a lot of time in service to something that wasn't fulfilling for you. You know, in service of somebody else's goal, somebody else's destiny. Which doesn't mean that being of service is the wrong thing, but what you've been in service to. So now it has to come from your soul. What does your soul want you to devote your life to? Okay, so we're really like concerned with that authenticity. I know now that, I want to take care of something. I want to teach people. I want to heal people. I want to help people in some way. But it has to speak to my soul. It has to be authentic because I ain't doing that the other way anymore, I'm not going to spend my life in service to an ideal, in service to an energy, a purpose, a path, a person that does not resonate with me. So the big thing here is not it's not being of service. It's what we're in service to. Again, even if it's something silly like the plant, well, that's something that at least that you've chosen that resonates with you, that is authentically your devotion, right? So it could be that we're really looking for a purpose right now. What should be there but isn't, right? The Five of Cups. Maybe that's the sense of purpose. Maybe what we thought was our purpose before sort of blew up in our face, and we realized that, okay, now I want a purpose, but I don't seem to have one. Okay, and we're using that term very broadly, right? The purpose is just the motivation to get up and work. It's kind of what we're in service to, right? And it could be that my purpose is to cultivate my garden, literally outside in my backyard, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to grow what I want to grow, which is a lot different than cultivating somebody else's garden. Now we're cultivating our own, and it seems way more authentic. Okay, and that's the big concern. We are sort of afraid of losing our identity by being sort of attaching ourselves to some other purpose that isn't really for us, in a desperation, really, right? Because we feel that Five of Cups, we just want it to stop. Okay, well, I'm going to go and I'm just going to take any old thing that I can just to make it stop. Yeah. But the authenticity here says, no, I'm going to find what is authentically for me, and I'm going to devote myself to that. And I'm going to be of service to that. Maybe it's a new career. Maybe it's a pet, a plant, a person. Maybe it's a new career, a new lifestyle. Maybe it's some new hobbies. Maybe it's playing guitar. Maybe it's to making gumbo. Whatever it is. Maybe it's the birdhouse or the library or writing a book or becoming a teacher, becoming a healer or something along these lines, or volunteering somewhere, being of charity somewhere. Whatever it is, it's coming from you, from yourself, from your deepest self. Okay. Now the next card is position 10. This is the destiny, the culmination, the fruit of your labor. And all this, really the culmination of all the cards leads to you knowing where to take your shovel and start tending the garden. Okay? And so this really, I know it doesn't look like much. This is the card of failure. This is the card of something that didn't grow. This is the card of weakness. This is the card of cultivation. This is the card of the discipline necessary, the fortitude, the tenacity, the commitment, the devotion to cultivate something. Okay? It's easy to be a part of something when it's already got a lot of fruit on it. But to find something in your life that has been neglected, and to devote yourself to restoring it to beauty, restoring that section of the garden, right, is a very purposeful and noble quest. So I feel like that's what we're aligning our will. We're finding this because what we're doing is we're putting fire to earth. And fire to earth is the spiritual, electrical, magical circuit of creation. Fire to earth, impulse to action, inspiration to implementation, will to action, impulse to behavior. It's all these things, right? It's heaven to earth, it's above to below, fire to earth. Putting our intention into whatever, sort of physical manifestation it sort of syncs up with. Yeah. And so this is really about you finding that spot in the garden that needs the tending, needs the cultivation. Okay? And then getting to work cultivating it. And that's what the Hierophant is trying to tell you. The Hierophant is like the master landscaper, and is kind of pointing, is showing you, hey, this over here, right? His fingers are pointing, look, over here, that's where you need to develop yourself. That's where you need to develop your life. That is what needs your attention right now. And then you say, okay, I'm going to give that my attention, and it's going to grow into this beautiful garden. And I think that's amazing. Let's look at the mystery card. I kind of feel it's going to be like an Ace of Wands. But I want it to be some cups. I want it to be a nice 6 of cups. I want it to feel good. I want us to be in the flow of this energy. Position 11 is the guide. It's the higher self, the true self. It's the holy guardian angel, the inner teacher, the wisdom that waits to lead you forward. Let's see what we have. The Page of Wands. Yeah, of course, we're polishing our wand here. We're getting ready. We're getting our tools. We're getting the shovel and the, whatever else you need for the garden. And you are, you're setting out toward that area of the garden, and you're ready. You got your hat on, protect you from the sun. Got your gardening gloves, and you're ready. You got your old jeans on. You're ready to get down and dirty and start doing the work. This is also the card, though, of experimentation. So it's letting you know. It's the message telling you, hey, you may not get it right the first time. You may not know precisely what it is. It may not feel like that perfect flow right away. It may be that you kind of have to experiment a little bit and try some different things until you find what really works. This is a card of growth and learning. The pages, right, they're squires. It's a knight in training. And that sort of training means we've got to go out there and put in the work, and we're going to learn a lot of lessons. Okay, so it might be we start with a little plant. Maybe that's all I needed was a plant to be in service to. And then we might say, well, okay, well, no, that doesn't really quite do it either. I needed something else. What should it be? And so we experiment with other things. Maybe we we audit a couple classes. Maybe we do some research online. Maybe we go and we take a couple lessons somewhere or something, right? Maybe we go on a couple dates. Maybe we try a couple different forms of art or painting or something, or I don't know, something, right? Until we find what really clicks and what really works. Okay? So it's not that we're going to have this absolute certainty that says, I know, I'm meant to be, a blacksmith or something, right? And then that's our life, and then we know it, and it's all good. No, I think we have to dabble in little things until we find what it is that we want to be devoted to. And then we mature into the full knight, energy, and we're just doing that thing without any kind of resistance. It's sort of, we're flowing smoothly with it. But until then, we have to explore a little bit and figure out what is exactly right for us. Okay? This card, all the pages or princesses of the tarot give us permission to not know all the answers. Okay? So this is the card that says, let's go out and experiment. Let's try different things. Let's dabble a little bit here, and here, all within this umbrella of sort of being of service and helping and giving and healing people, or, that sort of energy. That, because there are many different ways to be of service, right? So we got to experiment with those different kind of ways of being of service until we find exactly what we want to do, what fits for us. But you see what I mean? It's all under the umbrella of that main principle or ideal that you're coming to realize. And to me, it feels like it's being of service or helping in some way, but you might find it something different for you, Anyway, please let the lessons of these 11 stations settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror, each station a temple of transformation. And remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. Okay? It reveals the pattern of possibilities. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your path in any way, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward, and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading too. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There is a link down below in the video description. New readings for Leo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.